my name is Kayla and welcome to our channel. If this is your first time joining us, I am a biblical naturopathic doctor with Sozo Holistic Healing, where we help families be saved, healed, and made whole. And this is Christian, who is not a naturopathic doctor, but he is my weird husband who helps me to be balanced and supports me and is my better half and is way more interesting than if I was doing videos by myself. On this channel, we like to talk about just kind of our family values of being natural and holistic and have that kind of Christian crunchy sort of thing going on. Of course, just having a focus on Jesus. And we are the parents of one toddler with another one coming soon. And so we've also been talking a lot about parenting and things like that. And before we get started, before I forget, please don't forget to like and subscribe. And it's not for, yes, the fingers.
I see other YouTube videos that do that. I like and subscribe. Do I have anything in my teeth?
Yes, you do.
I do? Is it like visible?
I don't know if it's visible on the camera.
Do I have anything in my teeth?
It's right there. Like right around one tooth.
Kayla made pho.
Yes.
A healthy pho. It's
Healthy
like the most
pho.
healthiest pho I've tasted in my life.
That doesn't make you feel gross afterwards. It's still
Honestly,
delicious.
this is natural. We're flawed, you know? What's that new movement that everyone's having?
Body positivity.
Oh, body positivity. This is what I want to be.
It's natural.
It's natural, man.
Anyway, so please don't forget to like and subscribe if you like this weirdness with this natural crunchiness. And it's not for our own egos, so we just like to see likes. It just helps us to know that we're doing something that you actually enjoy, and if you're not enjoying it, then we'll do something different. Today we are going to do a kind of a couples Bible study, and we did one of these videos a few months ago, I forget when, but we got some good feedback from some of the viewers last time, and so we thought we would do another couples Bible study, and this time kind of like a parenting edition. Is this the Lamb of God? I don't know.
Do you love me? Do you love me? Then lead my sheep?
Feed my sheep.
Oh, then feed my sheep.
And lead my sheep, actually.
Lead my sheep.
Both of them. Anyway, this Bible study is going to be on the verses Deuteronomy 6, 5 through 7, which is a little bit short, but honestly, all the verses about children in the Bible are pretty short. So I will read it very quickly. Are you paying attention?
I am paying attention. My best that I can.
Deuteronomy 6, 5 through 7, and I'll also try to remember to put it in the description box too, so you can read along with us. You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart and with all your soul and with all your might, and these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children and shall talk to them when you sit in your house and when you walk by the way and when you lie down and when you rise.
It's beautiful.
Short and sweet. So,
Gorgeous.
what do you think? What are your kind of initial thoughts about it?
Me? But you go first. Warm me up.
Okay. I mean, I think these verses are just kind of like a basic idea of how to be a good spiritual leader to your children. And I think a lot of times, I mean, I grew up having Bible classes every day and going to Sunday school. I feel like sometimes parents maybe have a tendency to think like education, spiritual education comes from the Sunday school teacher or from the pastor or from the Bible school, VBS, youth group, whatever, and maybe undersell or undervalue just the role that they have as a spiritual leader for their children. So that's my thought, my first initial thought. What about you?
Is that what these Bible verses are supposed to be about? Well, Kayla taught me to exegete. Or exegesis.
So the first verse,
that means explain, right?
yeah. So the first verse is basically like the great commandment. It's like this all-encompassing kind of like this. Sorry, I don't know if you can hear that. Our upstairs neighbors just turned on their shower.
Crazy.
So anyway, the first verse starts out saying, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your might. So that's basically like, hey, this is what the Christian life should be in kind of like a basic nutshell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then the next sentence, and these words I command you today shall be on your heart. So that should be what you and me and all of us as Christians should individually be living and acting out and believing, right? As like a single person.
Okay.
And then the next sentence is, you shall teach them diligently to your children. All the different examples, like you shall talk to them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise. So like, it's not just your responsibility to embody them in your own life, but to also teach them to your children, and to be, you know, when they wake up, when they go to sleep, when you're walking, when you're talking, when you're at home, when you're doing all these things. Like, it should be a daily, regular practice of teaching them to your children.
I mean, you explained it all.
I feel like I'm doing all the talking. I want to hear
No,
what you think.
I want you to do all the talking, because I don't know what to say about that one. I have no.
Well, what does it mean to you?
I don't know what to say about that.
What does it mean to you as somebody that doesn't have a degree in study? Because that's how it should be. Like, all the people, like, this was not written for a biblical
you know what?
scholar. It was written for like the average everyday person.
I guess my opinion or my insight may be compromised a little bit because of all the studying I did afterwards. But if I was to think the way I thought growing up, I mean, I went to Catholic school from 1st to 12th grade, and I pretty much have a religious education of like a 1st grader or a 2nd grader. And
Actually, before I finish, just to give a little backstory, he was raised Catholic, I was raised Protestant by missionary parents, so we both have very different backgrounds in our...
But we're both Catholic charismatic.
Yes. So
That's
we
another
kind of
story for another time.
met in the middle. Oh, we should do a video about that.
Yeah, we should.
Anyway, but so just to give you background, our religious education was very different. But
Yeah.
keep going.
So most Catholics, and if you beg to differ, they all have a religious education of a 2nd or 1st grader. And if you beg to differ, okay, sure, then you probably won. Then you're just
One in 100,000.
I'm one. I could agree because I'm in it. I was in it, and everyone else doesn't know, barely knows any Bible verses. If you ask a random Catholic just like me that grew up in the 80s and the 90s, give them 10 Bible verses, they probably can't even give you 4 to 5, maybe not even complete. And I couldn't. I still can't. Maybe now I can. But I don't really, this Bible verse, I think I need to be explained it more. I don't know what really had do I just think that love the Lord your God, what is it again? With all your heart and your soul. So I guess take it literally, love him with all your heart and soul. Yeah, it's kind of complicated, Sometimes when I pray and I ask Jesus, I'm like, Jesus, can you just tell me? I can't really read this right now. It's like a riddle a lot, some of the Bible verses I don't really get, And I think everybody else feels the same way too. But if you really asked me to think and I could dissect it, I would come up with my own opinions. But then those opinions would become my own thoughts, and those thoughts might become just what I start believing in. And I don't want to say it may be right or wrong, but every mumbo jumbo person nowadays are gonna be like, there's no right or wrong.
What do you think about you as a parent? How do you think you should be as a parent for your kids?
Oh, that's a better question. Yeah, I think the parent should be the spiritual director, and the spiritual father and mother of your child. They should be a role model of who they should mirror. Our daughter, she knows to put her hands together. She's 1 year old, but she knows to do that.
It's really cute. And she'll go like this.
Well, yeah, when she tries to do the sign of the cross, she just tries to attempt it, but you know, it's not about the actions, it's about like more of the respect, you know, she has for Christ.
And also for you, I don't know if you know this, because usually you have your eyes closed, but so like when he prays, he'll like put his hands out, like to bless the food or like to bless her or something like that, and she'll watch him, because I don't do that, so she doesn't do that when I pray, but when she sees him doing it, then she puts her hands out too. Did you see that?
I didn't see that.
Yeah, it's really
my
cute.
eyes are closed.
But I think that's a good example of like, she watches you and she sees what you do. She sees how you pray. She sees how you live. She sees how you talk. She sees how you treat other people. And especially because she's in that toddler phase where like she's in that phase of copying everything. But that's not like, it's more noticeable right now. But that's true for like any age of child. They're gonna be watching what you do and how you live, and they're gonna be consciously or unconsciously copying that.
Yeah, well, babies are very observant. And I didn't even, you know, people know about that, they think they know about that, but I'm like, when you have a kid, I thought I knew a lot when I had my nephews and nieces. I didn't know anything. My babies know everything. They're like memorized, they're like sponge everything. So parents, watch what you say, and I know most parents are thinking in the back of their mind, well, I know, I could say something, no, you're gonna slip one day. Like me, and she imitated me today. What did I say when I came through the door? I came home from work and I said something like, "You see," and she like ran off and said, "You see."
Yeah.
And I'm like, dude, she hasn't even spoken any words in like the past couple of days. But I mean, she's been speaking, but like I can't really understand her. But today I was like, what the? She just imitated me.
So next question, what do you think are kind of like practical, physical things that the average parent can do to be that spiritual leader with their kids, or how they can help their kids love the Lord with all their heart, soul, mind, and strength?
So what could they be?
Like because it's easy to say like, oh yeah, just do this, and just like they're gonna watch you, but like what are some kind of like practical, actionable things that like parents can do this with their kids, or parents can act like this with their kids, or you know, do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things that a parent needs to do to model for their kid, for the baby or child. I think they need to, first and foremost, before either they wake up in the morning or before they go to bed at night, start their day with a prayer, or end their day with a prayer. Before they eat, always respect the food that God gave us, because people just think food is food. If you ever think about it, if our body is like a car won't run without gas. Food is very important. If you ever read the Bible, which I barely just started getting to know things, stories of the Bible. I mean, I read a lot when we were younger, but I don't really remember anything. That's the worst thing about a Catholic. We just think there's some kind of like, it's almost borderline fictional, you know. I'm not speaking for all Catholics, but I'm talking about like a lot of them who are secular influenced, and now it's having more of an impact on me, and I realized that Jesus, in this ministry, he's always, when he's administering to people and groups, he's always it's involved with eating. He's always eating. He's blessing the food. Now, if you really think about and you put all that together, number one, he's being communal. Number two, he's putting something in the body to nourish your body.
And I mean, we've learned, especially like, you know, with my practice, is like how important food is for your body, right? And like praying over the food that you eat and all that stuff. I never used to think about it until I started valuing the food that I put in my body.
Well, someone came to the store and she said to me that food is the language of the soul. You know, and if you have it, you can speak to anybody with it. You know, and I really liked when she said that. You know, and I that resonated with me. So
that's cool.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that most parents could start with lunch, praying before they eat, before they go to bed at night?
So, I agree. Like, I think it's important to pray with your children, like what you said, like, you know, before they go to sleep, before meals, in the morning, or whatever, like, works really well with you. And then I think it's also really important, like, as a couple, too, to, like, be praying together and be praying individually, you know, because, like, we pray after she's already asleep. So she doesn't see us praying together every day, but I think it makes a big difference on how we interact with each other on a daily basis and how we feel about each other and how we, like, couple parent together. So I think, like, that's one of those underlying things that has echoes into your being a spiritual leader for your child, right? I think, like, what you said was really important too, because, like, maybe, like, especially as a Catholic, but just in general, like, your kids may not be getting experience reading the Bible or, like, learning the stories, you know?
Yeah, that's right.
I mean, we've got, like, Noah's Ark book, you know, and she likes to learn the stories.
Or I read, like, faith step books. Yeah. Before we go to bed at night, we always read a book, you know, like one of these, you know, Jesus books for kids, for babies. I allow her to pick which book she wants, but I make sure we end it with one of those.
So, last question. Do you think that moms and dads play any different kind of role as being spiritual leaders for their kids, or do you think they're exactly the same in the things that they should do?
No, it's completely different. You know, you got your Holy Family. Saint Joseph, you know, he had to, back in the day, the men had to take care of the family. When I say back in the day, I mean like physical labor and go get things and build stuff. You know, Saint Joseph was a carpenter. You know, like this guy builds houses and anything else he needs, you know, to take care of his family. And the Blessed Mother, Mom Mary, she took care of the family. You know, so the mother and father, yeah, I believe they have different roles. I mean, the dad could cook, the mom could take care of the things while the dad does a lot of the, how do you say, external stuff.
I think, like, it doesn't necessarily have to be, like, the stereotypical, like, the man's man and, like, the little homemaker wife. You know, it doesn't have to be necessarily, like, those kinds of things. Like, when I was in school, at one point we had a pastor or chaplain, like our school's chaplain was actually a couple, and they were working together, and I thought it was so great because he was, I mean, I'm sure, like, within their home and everything, like, he was the spiritual leader, and I think that all men should be, but it wasn't, he was a very, like, soft-spoken, very gentle kind of man, and for the chaplain duties, like, he was the one that would do, like, the one-on-one visits. Like, the kid that comes in crying to the office, like, he would sit down with them and he would just make them feel like they were heard and listened to and, like, loved and cherished, like, on a one-to-one setting. But she was a lot more outgoing, and she was much of a better, like, public speaker. So she led all the chapel services and the youth group stuff. Like, she was the speaker. And so you might look at that and think, like, oh, well, she should be in her place, and, like, she should be, you know what I mean? Like, they were both leading with their gifts and with their unique personalities. And it wasn't that, like, she was more masculine because she was front and center more of the time or something like that. Like, I think the man should be the spiritual leader, but I think that doesn't always look exactly the same for everyone.
Well, I don't agree with that with when it comes to, like, I mean, that's different. I thought you were talking about at the home, at the house.
Oh, no, I was just using that as an example because that was public, but, like, I mean, as a...
If a woman wants to lead, then let her lead.
Like, so in my situation, like, objectively, I know more information about the Bible, and I'm a better, like, teacher of the Bible, maybe, to our children. I agree. But you do lead us in a different way, even though you don't have, like, the factual knowledge. You have, like, the drive and the wisdom and, you spend a lot of time in prayer, like in a different way than I do. And I don't think it's like a masculine feminine thing, and I don't think that you necessarily have to be like a more dominant personality because you're the spiritual leader, but like I feel like a man will just have a different energy.
Yeah, I agree.
The husband will have a different energy than the wife or something.
Oh, for
like
sure.
That. Yeah.
Both men and women are both compassionate, but mamas have a different touch, man. Like women, mothers, they create human beings. They have human beings popping out of women. That is amazing. You know, when people just actually think about it. You know, like definitely women and men have different roles. I mean, in school, I gravitated towards the girls in my class because they were nicer to me when I had problems studying. You know, they didn't make me feel bad. You know, you talk to a boy, he would say something like, majority of them in my class were like, oh, you don't get it, why are you so slow, you can't hurry up, man. And that like hurt my feelings. And people would say, why are you so sensitive? Well, okay, then I'm not sensitive. And that creates me to be a little bit more responsive and reactive, and may lead to someone like me fighting. You know, so what does that have to do with anything? You know, in a household, women have moms. I mean, not all women, but majority of mothers have a different gift. They just know how to talk. They know how they're like human baby whispers. You know, they just, you know, when a mom sings a lullaby, it could put anybody to sleep. You know, when a man sees a woman, she can make him go on their knees almost. You know, that's what I believe. Because they have a different touch. You know, like men and women are not the same.
All right, so those are our thoughts on Deuteronomy chapter 6, verses 5 through 7. And if you'd like to leave some comments so you can share what you think about these verses and how you think parents being spiritual leaders is really important, or ways that you have implemented this into your home, we'd love to hear about it. And we will see you next time.